welcome to Providence Consulting Group's industry webinar focused on aerospace and defense. Over the course of today's webinar, we'll cover the following agenda: fast facts about Providence Consulting Group, why we're here, what we offer to you, how we've been there and done that, and where we can work together to make sure that you're successful as a company. Providence Consulting Group, also known as PCG, is Infor's longest-serving alliance partner. Infor dates back to about 1990 with the foundation of the Triton product series, where it then became Bond all the way through 2000 and eventually became ERP LN and formed the Infor Corporation. And you can see that goes all the way through today, where you've gone through LN 10.7 and then finally the Cloud Edition, which debuted in 2019. Our company formed alongside that over the course of the years, dating back nearly 20 years to where Link Technologies and Flextronics business unit came together after a management buyout and then finally merged with the North American division of Business and Decision to form Providence Consulting Group. Last year, we were Infor's Manufacturing Partner of the Year. So you may be asking yourself, why choose PCG for Infor projects? Well, I can tell you that our company has achieved a number of firsts in the industry and working in a strategic partnership and alliance with Infor. We were the first to implement LN in North America, the first LN-focused Infor alliance partner, the first partner to deliver a full platform of LN 10.5 go live in North America, which was a significant upgrade to the system, first burst-specialized ERP LN partner in North America, the test partner for new industry suite functionality across the platform, the largest LN resource pool for Infor in North America. We have one of the largest global footprints of people, clients, and projects, and we have deep Infor expertise in the LN 10.x series domain knowledge and expertise, and finally a very deep industry knowledge in aerospace and defense along with the other industries that we service. We're also a preferred alliance partner for manufacturing suites, and we have the most implementations and upgrades with expansion in the industry. Our success as a company is directly attributable to a number of factors. We are Infor's longest-serving alliance partner, a relationship that dates back nearly 20 years. We've developed trusted relationships with our customers along that same timeline that has seen us come back to a number of companies, whether large, medium, or small, for multiple implementations over several decades. And then finally, it's our consulting group, whose industry knowledge for best practices and the application stack is second to none. All of that results in what you see in front of you. Hands-on work, we do it ourselves. There is no outsourcing. Fee predictability. We manage a tight schedule and scope with a very strict change orders process, which means there's no surprises for you as a company and a financial impact you weren't prepared for. Knowledge. As I previously mentioned, our consultants will come to the table with a wealth of knowledge for industry best practice and how to configure the software to meet your business requirements. Customer focus. We will take you cradle to grave, from the sales cycle all the way through documenting your requirements and an implementation, to finally post-go live, where we'll continue to partner with you to make sure that we're continuing to optimize the system and make sure that you're in a position to be successful as a business, to win new business, and also to mitigate risk. And finally, the projects are anywhere from large to small, and they could be simple or complex, single sites or multiple sites under a single logistics company, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. And that's the flexibility that we're able to achieve as a company. This brings us to our first fast fact. In 2019, Infor named PCG its Manufacturing Partner of the Year as a result of the number of successes that we've had across multiple industries implementing the Infor product suite. This slide illustrates a number of corporations that PCG has worked with over the last several decades to successfully implement the Infor product suite. They span a number of industries to include aerospace and defense, automotive, industrial manufacturing, and high-tech electronics, and they range from large to medium to small in terms of the size of the corporation. PCG as a company services a number of industries and draws our expertise from there in terms of our consulting base, whether it be aerospace and defense, automotive, retail, high-tech electronics, life sciences, manufacturing, or wholesale distribution. While PCG has a wealth of experience in the automotive, high-tech electronics, and industrial manufacturing sectors, today we're here specifically to talk about our experience, our expertise, depth of knowledge, and how we can help you as a company in the aerospace and defense sector. My name is Alex Pleitsis, and I am PCG's Aerospace and Defense Industry Lead. I have over 15 years of industry experience, I spent 8 years as a U.S. Army Special Operations Reserve soldier, as a Defense Civilian Intelligence Officer, and then finally as Chief of Sensitive Activities within the Office of the Secretary of Defense, specifically for Special Operations and Counterterrorism. I've worked for a number of Tier 1 aerospace and defense firms to include Northrop Grumman and finance companies such as Bridgewater Associates. I'm a Six Sigma Black Belt and Operations Management expert. I've run operations internally for an aerospace and defense company, and I've managed a number of successful Infor implementations in aerospace and defense, both on-prem and in the cloud. This brings us to our second fast fact. Providence Consulting Group has well over 100 consultants who bring with them a wealth of knowledge and depth of industry experience to make sure that your company will be successful through the course of an implementation. They serve as both consultants to configure the software as well as business analysts, and are able to inform you about industry best practice to make sure that your company is going to be successful long after we leave. As a sector, aerospace and defense has been growing at an unprecedented rate, with a total of $865 billion in economic output, representing nearly 2% of total U.S. GDP. It generated $86 billion in positive trade balance, the largest of any industry, nearly $143 billion in exports, or 10% of total U.S. exports, supporting millions of workers across the country. That rapid, unprecedented growth, along with burdensome requirements levied by the federal government, nearly 20 years of being at war, and ever-changing technologies has led to a series of pain points that are common across the industry that many companies will experience, and some of these will be very familiar to you as we discuss them here today. On the company side, you want to be able to reduce lead times. You need to be able to meet the requirements for fixed-price contracts. You need to want to take advantage of increased defense spending, the internationalization of the industry, and finally export controls, which have gone more stringent in recent years. On the technology side, oftentimes we'll run into fragmented applications, adoption laggards in terms of systems being 10 to 20 years old, needing upgrades or new implementations, new workforce demands, collaboration challenges. On the supply chain side, we often have folks who are trying to get increased visibility and transparency into the supply chain, trying to deal with configuration complexity, global supply chain growth, how to manage contract flowdowns with multiple tiers, quality clauses that are becoming more stringent. And on the compliance side, you have your international trafficking and arm control regulations that need to be met. You have the need to make sure that your system is MMAS compliant for DCA audits. You have to be able to make sure that you can handle your progress payments and you're able to receive defense materials as necessary and report to the government. You have to be able to make sure that you can manage and be able to report out on your earned value. And then finally, that your company is meeting your AS9100 quality certification derived from ISO 9001. These are all common pain points that we see on a regular basis and we deal with. And you need to be able to make sure that the system can be configured to either meet those requirements or generate the outputs that are necessary from a reporting and compliance side. And we bring the expertise to the table to do that, and we can help you through it. The previous slide highlighted a number of common pain points that are seen across the aerospace and defense industry. In addition to those pain points, there are a number of industry-specific requirements that need to be met. They're highlighted on this slide, and they really fall into 4 separate areas: compliance, sales and demand, project management, project accounting, and then manufacturing and quality. On the compliance side, you have both your international traffic and arms control regulations overseen by the Department of State, and then also EAR overseen by the Department of Commerce. You may have a project that may require a DPAS rating for the Department of Defense if you have a rated program, and we can configure the system to handle that. The Aerospace and Defense suite from Infor is MAS compliant for D4 and DCA audits. We also are able to make sure the system is going to give you the outputs necessary so you can maintain the Truth in Negotiations Act. And then also your DD-250 or your MIR, and make sure you can receive defense materials. On the sales and demand side, unlike other industries that really use sales orders, oftentimes in the aerospace and defense industry, it focuses on sales contracts and projects, and you need to be able to configure the system to handle sales contracts, the contract structure, and the flow down, your work broke down structure, and then finally you'll be able to support foreign military sales, or FMS. We also often work with aerospace and defense clients who have a mix of requirements, whether it be pure commercial and they may not have a contract, it may be a sales order, or they may have one where they're working with the Department of Defense and they have a contract in place that requires projects. And we have a number of customers who do both, and we can configure the system to handle both sets of requirements. On the project management accounting side, the system can be configured for your cost accounting standards, project accounting, if there's retainage or holdbacks that's necessary, if that's in the contract, foreign exchange hedging, if you're dealing with those purchases or sales in foreign currencies, earned value or EVMS, and then finally your contract financing if you need to submit those progress payments with your SF 1443. And on the manufacturing and quality side, something commonly seen in the electronics industry but is being adopted more on the aerospace and defense side is reference designators. We can make sure the system's configured to handle that. Your first article inspectors, manufacturer or customer part numbers, TDPs, your technical data packages, how to handle customer furnished materials, and then finally on the quality side, your AS9100 certification and making sure the system is generating the necessary reporting or that it's collecting the information necessary to meet certification standards. With advancements in robotics, artificial intelligence, and technology, we're rapidly entering what we call Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. And Infor has continuously adapted its product suite to ensure that it is able to take advantage of those changes in technology to make you more successful as a business. That includes end-to-end solutions designed for your industry, specifically with the Aerospace and Defense suite, both on-prem and in the cloud, enterprise asset management to make sure that you can take care of your equipment, factory track for machine learning and automation, and then your functional applications to enable complete connectivity and innovation through MES, and then supplier exchange, and if it happens to be the automotive sector, you'll see automotive exchange, and finally expense management. And the digital platform for Industry 4.0 supports your integrations, your extensibility, and social collaboration, as well as supporting artificial intelligence. Previously, you saw a slide that highlighted a number of companies that we work with across all of the industries that we service. What's in front of you right now is a depiction of a number of aerospace and defense companies that we've worked with to successfully implement the Infor product suite over the last 20 years. They include pure commercial aerospace companies, ones that service just the defense industries, and then there are a number that do both. This brings us to our third fast fact. In total, we've conducted over 400 successful ERP implementations for over 350 customers, with a number of them asking us to come back to conduct multiple implementations at multiple sites or at the same location over the span of decades. PCG has achieved over 400 successful implementations by following an implementation lifecycle that's common to all of our customers, which takes us through the engagement in the sales cycle, through the deployment and implementation of the software, ensuring that we achieve your business requirements, and then finally continue to evolve and adapt after the implementation has been completed. The way that we've been able to create success and predictability is through a common approach that we use with all of our clients. That's by ensuring that our approach is vertical specific and that the consultants we bring to the table bring the industry experience and expertise for that particular project. The methodology supports both a waterfall and agile approach to project management. It's built on industry standards. It's business process driven. Your requirements drive the entire process. The process itself is risk focused by making sure that testing and training is a priority and that the system is able to meet your requirements. All of this is achieved through the adoption of the Infor deployment method, which governs the implementation process. As you can see from the slide in front of you, there are two purple boxes that act as bookends for the implementation process itself. It begins with project initiation and planning, which is where your project manager will set up all of the basic tools, requirements, and staff the project to get ready for the implementation to begin. The project will formally kick off in what's called the inception phase of the project, where, as I stated, the project will be formally kicked off and introduced to all the project team members, as well as meeting with the executive team to align on expectations and requirements. We will go ahead and gather all of your business requirements, review your current as-is processes, and document them to ensure that we capture all of the end-to-end processes that are necessary in the system to satisfy your business requirements, in addition to reviewing any third-party applications that you may have that would require extensibility, or any reports or forms that might be necessary to support your business. Once that's complete and signed off on, we'll then move into what's called the elaboration phase. And this is, as the name suggests, where we're going to elaborate on those requirements. And the first prototype environment will be built by the consulting team. The consultants will go ahead and configure those business processes in the system that are required to satisfy your business requirements. We'll also go ahead and conduct what we call data labs, where we'll introduce concepts such as data cleansing and how we're going to migrate data from any of your current systems or databases into the new application suite that you purchased. and we'll send these teams off to go gather data and to go ahead and cleanse. Through the course of that phase, the consulting team will be prototyping individual processes for subject matter experts and business process owners, so you can take a look at what industry best practice looks like and see that process as it executes individually. That phase will culminate in the first conference room pilot. And that's where the consultants will conduct an end-to-end system test without any of the technical work being done, basically order to cash for one of your products to show you that the system is able to meet your requirements, and then also to validate that the consultants understand your business. It's also where we'll identify any gaps in system functionality, should they exist, and that may require a custom object to be built, or a RISEF object, or a report, an integration, a customization, an extension of form, and potentially a workflow or an alert. Once that's complete, we'll then move into what's called the construction phase. And as the name suggests, that's where you're going to construct any of the technical work that needs to be done, any of those RISEF objects that were identified in the elaboration phase. It's also where we're going to construct the second prototype environment, and where we'll conduct a data migration rehearsal to ensure that we have the proper tools and methodology to transfer all of your data from your existing applications and databases into the new application seat to make sure that we're ready to go for go live, which will take place in the next phase. That phase will culminate after a series of hands-on trainings, and where the core team from your company will actually drive. So they'll drive the transactions for the second conference room pilot. And that's to validate a knowledge transfer from the consulting team to your company and making sure that the system is able to handle your requirements. Once that's complete, we'll move into what's called the transition phase, or fourth phase of the project. And as the name again suggests, it's where we're going to transition responsibility from the system over to you as a company and away from the consultants. During that phase, the core team, who has just driven the second conference room pilot, along with material that they've generated in terms of work instructions, which we'll help you with, are able to then train the end users of the company. Those are the people who will drive the day-to-day transactions. They'll conduct some user acceptance testing to make sure that the end users are capable of driving the system, and that'll culminate in the third conference room pilot. And that's where your end users will demonstrate that they're able to drive the transactions in the system day-to-day, and that there's not a risk to your business because they've tested the use cases necessary to where business process owners say, hey, I feel comfortable moving forward because I don't see risk to the system based on testing we've done. That'll take us to the period right before go live, in which case we'll do a final data migration. And once that's complete, the consulting team will have done that in the production company that they've built, and on the first day of a new financial period, the system will be turned on and you'll be live. That'll take us into the fifth and final phase of the project, which is called optimization. And that's where, as the name suggests again, the system will be optimized, and any issues that arise after go live will be mitigated by the consulting team that's there in working with your team on the ground. Successful testing in previous phases will reduce any issues that you may see going forward. So good testing and training in those preceding phases are really important for that reason. And finally, that's where we're also going to capture any requirements that fell out during the course of the implementation, where you made a conscious decision not to do so due to time or cost, or quite frankly, change management. And those will be presented to you in a list for potential phase 2. And then we'll bring our finance consultants back for a finance month end to help you close your books. And finally, we'll end up closing the project. One of the best sets of tools that we've seen for reducing risk, cost, and timeline for an implementation are the implementation accelerators developed by Infor that are specific by industry, and they exist for the aerospace and defense industry. They result in faster time to value, lower cost, and reduced risk. Infor has developed industry-specific implementation accelerators by interviewing industry leaders, and in the case of aerospace and defense, large Tier 1 aerospace and defense firms, to help identify and define best practices across your company, whether it be shipping or receiving or finance or manufacturing or operations. All of these come with a predefined process flow map that are also linked to role-based permissions in the system that define a person in a process. This allows you to see what best practice looks like, ensure that you're going to reduce risk, and by not having to define the process from scratch, allow you to save time and money through the course of an implementation. One of the first activities that's conducted in the inception phase of a project is a review of high-level business requirements. During the course of this activity, we will determine which end-to-end business processes in the application suite are required to satisfy your business requirements. That takes us to what you see in front of you, and that is Infor's 60-30-10 process framework. Over the course of a decade, Infor has determined that about 60% of the core business processes can be adopted out of the box with industry best practice. About 30% require some sort of fine-tuning, whether that's a process reconfiguration or potentially changing some customer-facing documentation by adding logos or whatnot. Only about 10% are truly unique and require a complete process reconfiguration or a custom RICEF object, which would be a report, an integration, a customization, an extension, or a form. Through the course of our experience at PCG, we also have seen that this percentage holds true largely for many clients throughout the industry. As a company, PCG has realigned Infor's 60-30-10 business process approach based on its industry experience for each industry vertical, and we've done so for aerospace and defense. What that means is we have established an industry-specific environment that we've configured, which will help speed up prototype activities because we have an environment from which we can demonstrate business processes and allow you to see what best practice looks like. We've also developed industry-specific methods, tools, and templates. We have over 57 industry-specific business case scenarios, 297 use cases, 631 work instructions that can be changed based on your specific needs as a client, and then finally we also have some specific data migration tools both for on-prem and the cloud. That's also supported by industry content that we've developed. This brings us to our fourth fast fact, and that is that PCG has been the first company to implement LN in North America, the first LN-focused alliance partner, the first partner to deliver a full platform LN 10.5 go live in North America, the first Cloud Suite approved ERP LN partner in North America, and the first burst specialized ERP partner in North America. This brings us to our fifth and final fast fact. I'm proud to report that PCG has a 100% A&D project success rate for implementations. It's something that we're proud of and we've achieved by partnering with our clients and ensuring that we follow the appropriate processes that are risk-focused and customer-centric to make sure that we meet your requirements. Now that you've had an opportunity to learn more about PCG as a company, who we are, where we've been, and what we've done, let's talk about potential next steps. You can learn more about us as a company by visiting our website or getting in touch with us. You may also want to identify a specific area or area where you have pain points within your company that you want to see alleviated and ask us how we might be able to help you. You also can read case studies about our previous successes or ask for references for previous customers. Or finally, if you're ready, you may want to engage us for an implementation. At this point, there's really only one question left for you to ask yourself. How can we help your business? Whether it be through an implementation of a full brand new product suite, an upgrade of your existing system, or helping you with problem areas that you experience every day and alleviating some of those pain points that are making you uncompetitive or causing unnecessary business risk. Only you can answer that question, but we're happy to help you. Please reach out and we're looking forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you very much for attending PCG's Aerospace and Defense Industry webinar. You can get in touch with us via phone by calling 1-800-265-1230 or visit us on the web at www.pcgservices.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon.